Okay, so I have a writing here called The False Victory. It's really just about men's utilization of sex as a way to, or I'll say men's misuse of sex. Now, obviously, I value the life of the individual, but if you're accidentally or unintentionally making life as a result of the lack of sexual discipline, then you can understand how that leads to the issues that we're in today. So what was in my head? The first example was disrespecting the child, really and truly disrespecting the child by not taking them serious, in the sense that you make them believe that they are no, this is why it's so mad, because it's so disrespectful to even say this, but you're making them feel like they were a legitimate intentional design. For example, if you just have sex without the intention, if you're a man, you have sex without the intention of creating a child, and you don't really, you have no desire to create a life or child with that woman, but you're having sex, and as a result of that a child is created. It's like you're making that child feel like they were planned when they were really not, especially if that child doesn't have a relationship with the father. The child is a human being, they're going to want a relationship, they're going to want, that with their own father or parent. Well, it's mainly going to be the father because the mother gave birth to you, but you're making them feel like they were a legitimate, planned child, when that is not the case. It's like you've had sex, you're a man, you've had sex, and some random woman is telling you that you had a child, that this child is yours, and it's just if you had no discipline, sexual discipline, and you cannot face your reality, or you're obviously not going to want to have a relationship with that child. But that is not against the child. That is against the mother who's not really accepting that it's not a real reality. Do you know what I mean? It's not. There was no plan for you. There was no. This is not an intentional life creation event here. You're just a random lady, really and truly. It's as peak as it sounds. And this child, you're acting like the child the father is really just a sperm donor. That is the issue. The father is a sperm donor, and you've disrespected this child. You haven't seek to raise a child in a balanced environment, and you're taking the child for a mug. But at the same time, you cannot blame women. This is why I create this piece of writing here called The False Victory, to show, men have a responsibility too. And it's likely that there's various hundreds of different reasons why men are having sex in undisciplined ways. But I really just go to say, instead of dumping all the responsibility on women, that men play a part too. And as a result, you need that discipline. You need to address, or it needs to be addressed, how some people are misusing sex. Because if people are having sex for whatever reason, if sex is occurring, then life creation is always possible. So I can read this and you can say, oh, that doesn't apply to everyone, doesn't apply to me, but a life can be created as a result of this. Thus, it will be one of the many things that I address. Okay. So this is my Google Docs version. It's a lot shorter. So I would like to present a short summary on why I consider the norm to be a false victory. Now, what do I mean by false victory? I believe most men are substituting this perceived victory that is gained against a non-opponent as a make-up for the lack of ability to dominate as a man elsewhere in their lives and within the world. After reflecting on my own desires and observing the actions of other men, I have understood that the core low male desires are driven by some variation of the need to dominate, conquer, or rule. The masculine force necessitates that you be the ruler of your own domain, not someone that's ruled over. With this being established, it is also clear that most men lack the ability to do this very thing. There is no space, nor is there any time. The physical world has mostly been conquered. As a result, these forces are harnessed within what I would consider to be containers, play arenas that act as a substitute and deliver satisfaction to these desires through false victories, all without these actions having any substantial effect within the real world. In the real world, the individual man is just pissing in the wind. Let's correct that right there. Add a little full stop. Substitutes, however, allow people to gain similar levels of satisfaction, though these substitutes can come at quite a cost. Usually behind the fog of war lies a Pyrrhic victory. Instead of directing these masculine forces so that they could manifest things for themselves in the real material world, most instead tolerate their lack of control over their own lives and allow their energy to be utilized by and contained to what are essentially playgrounds. It is here where they can feel as though their energy is being expended and utilized for some individual gain. It is within these containers that they continue to be no threat within the real world. Porn, video games, watching sports, bars, strip clubs, etc. all are containers for harnessing forces. Their energy is harnessed so that they are kept occupied. The time that they waste and energy they extend is priced in the money that they spend. Okay, I might have to explain that. Let me just explain that. The time that they waste and energy that they expend is priced in the. It's like the money itself is a marker for time wasting. That's what I kind of mean with that. Anyway, they are the horses who have been broken. They are the bulls who have charged at the matadors to the point of exhaustion. Within these containers, their energy will either be used to power someone else's world, or they will simply be someone else's entertainment and will inevitably be led to slaughter. So like a bull, they'll just, harness off male aggression, and you just get made a mockery, and then you're led to your slaughter. It is only within these many containers that the masculine force is allowed to be expressed. Yet upon expression, your life becomes no better. You exerted yourself for an aim that brought nothing of value into your life other than having your time wasted and gaining a false sense of satisfaction. You popped bottles, splashed some cash, blew up some steam. Is it no different from a video game, an illusion? So that's like the strip club or the bar or the club or whatever. It's just all these places are just your energy could really be opposing this system that's contained you and captured you, or opposing. It's basically it's another man's system. That's all it is. Okay, someone has achieved a system of owning you on their land. That's really it. Is it no different from a video game, an illusion? You can win, but you won what exactly? The false victory. The world simply wants less competition, and in a world of lack, it is substituted with fantasy in order to keep these men occupied with a full sense of achievement. Okay, so the masculine force seeks for you as an individual to be the ruler of your own realm, the king of your own domain. But this is not. Someone has already achieved that, really and truly. Yeah, and now we exist on their farm, and they keep you occupied. They understand. It's like you're under military occupation, and all the warrior men have been captured. And after hundreds of years, that spirit that still exists within you, it's like it's kept occupied into containers, where a video game again. It's like all that effort goes into nowhere. Everyone's playing the same game. Everyone's making the same progress in the video game, but it's all energy and time that goes nowhere, into nothing. So now to relate this back to the non, for some this is their most cherished accomplishment. They are winning, but winning what exactly? Now the satisfaction of your partner or partners, I can at least nod my head to. So if that's your intention, I'm satisfying my partner, fair enough. However, you utilize the force to, okay, I can at least nod my head to. You are utilizing the force to do what no others could. A specialist role for a specialist task. There should be pride felt in leaving someone else feeling satisfied. The issue is when the force becomes corrupted and instead is used selfishly or destructively as opposed to creatively. And man's desire corrupts him and leads him down a path of illusion. It is at this moment that the force uses you instead of you using it. Each individual being driven by the masculine force should desire to rule over themselves completely, and that includes harnessing and mastering the powerful forces that drive them. The main outcome of the use of this force when directed to your partner is creation, procreation, or creative expression. You are a man, you have a mission to complete, and every action must have a purpose. Create. If you are doing anything else or utilizing the non for any other purpose, you are merely participating in a distraction. There is no victory but a false one. Many men are unsuccessful in their daily lives in regards to the manifestation of their masculine energy, and how it's meant to steer and dictate their life, yet soothe their sense of self with the false victory of the non or whatever substitute they can find. So this is what got to me, because someone tried to say, I tried to say something, I tried to type something really and truly, and someone said you need to get some non, and I was like, what what are you talking about? Yeah. And I said, look, there's obviously guys like this that think that they're winning. I called man out, and they think that they're winning because at the end of the day they get non. That is it. That's not winning. That's a false victory. That's a fantasy. That's not winning. You can't say, oh, go get some non. Okay, but to what end? I must repeat, if it's not to satisfy the other, to enhance both you and your partner, or to create life through love, you are simply wasting your time. Is this your victory? You have no control over your life. This relates to so many people. Instead of you dominating the world dominates you. Yeah, thus you have to go home and feel like you're winning in the bedroom. The force within you is neutralized. You are impotent. You're impotent in your daily activities. Yeah, at the end of the day, this built up force and its desire to conquer. So man should have had this conquering force in their day-to-day life. But we're here on the Truman set. We're here in man's system where man never really shows his face. The system of man never shows his face, but it's everywhere. Like, it's not to say that the boss, Your boss is the man. But these are the, back in the day, if someone owns their own land, a human man or male would have his own land and have his own family. There was no real, unless a tax collector is coming to you, there was not really, those interactions within the society. Yeah, the tax collector bullied everyone until they got their world. And now all these little elements of society in which you got people telling you what to do, it's the system of man. Okay. Instead of dominating the world dominates you. The force within you neutralize your input in your daily activities. Yeah, and the daily for. So yeah, so I can't even remember why I was saying that point, but let me just skip to my next point. You have all these, you're in a realm where it's hitting your psyche, and you're like, I'm someone else's bitch, but who? You can't see beyond the system. This person has created the system, and they don't have to interact with you, but through the structure of the system, the authority, the interactions that you're having, the way the relationship of men between other men, in all these different places within a society of activity, there is that role, the two roles of the system of man and the man who's been cucked in a way. And as a result, this hits the psyche. Thus, people are substituting the non and their victory there, introducing the masculine force of war, where there should have been beefing in real life, but the man of the system said, no, none of that. You're here paying tax. But, misuse of the non. Misuse of the non. Misuse of the non. The force within you is neutralized. You are impotent. Yeah, man, I've been impotized. Impotent. They are flaccid in their daily activities. I go back to what I said that, forget that bit. I was gonna say I'm trying to explain the areas of activity, economic activity, male activity, and you were once living in a world where you have your own land, you're self-sufficient, you have to work your land, it's hard, whatever, but still, there weren't many interactions within, with a system that is infringing upon you. Okay, you're impotent in your daily activities. Yeah, at the end of the day, this built up force and its desire to conquer something directs itself to the feminine, towards the non. You, a warlike being, have managed to feel a sense of satisfaction by dominating a being that was not intended to be dominated in such a way. The female is not the opponent for which these forces should be directed. The domination of the non is not the make-up for the lack of domination in your life. What pride do you gain from this? How can you boast? It's pathetic to me. This guy said you need to go get non. That's what he said. The non merely objects to be desired in the eyes of fallen fires. Okay, let me repeat that. These are merely objects to be desired in the eyes of fallen fires. You've made it an object. You've made the non an object, and it's desired in the eyes of fallen fires. It's the prize that is sought. Okay, it can never be me, because I've been beefing from the start, from the time I was in school. Primary school, I said, this is the system of man. Man out here telling me, I was trying to watch PB and J Otter at home on Disney Channel and enjoy my life, and I was told I have to go to nursery or something to be in that place. I said, this is the system of man. How can someone tell me what to do? But you love the false container that is school. They give you some points. They give you some. Look at the relationships. Guys are giving you golden stickers, telling you to sit and cross your arms and have your finger across your mouth saying shush, and you're trying to show how obedient you are. That's crazy. That's crazy. I never liked that place. But when you're 4, when you're 3, how much of a rebellion? How much of a rebel can you be? Unless you've heard the language of the rebel. I didn't have the language. Thus I can only speak like a 4-year-old. Thus I can only speak like a 5-year-old. Once you need to play your child some militant stuff, opposing the system stuff. Yeah, there needs to be okay, school's great, but then you need to have like a 4-year-old or 7-year-old who's already speaking this objective stuff, and you need to play it for your 7-year-old, 5-year-old, and let them get radicalized, or let them think. Because a young child might not like school, but they ain't got the verbal for it. Read this book. I read that when I was 15, 14, wherever. I was radicalized. I was ready to go. Okay, anyway. But to see women in this way, an opponent that can be dominated, an object that you desire, to feel a sense of accomplishment, to deal with your lack of ability to be a king of your own domain by substituting your opponent for one that can very easily be dominated. This is like an adult getting satisfaction from beating up a 5-year-old. For those who proudly display this as evidence of their kingly domination and superior use of the masculine force, I would have to argue that you utilized the force to defeat an opponent that was never really an opponent. It was a misdirection of your energy brought upon by corrupted lower desires. It was a deceitful illusion that had you defeating what you thought was your greatest opponent, an opponent you wished to devour, but one that you wanted to display as the prize. In the end, all you got was a false victory. Guys can't chat for me. A red pill man couldn't be in the same room as me. Okay, because I'll come for everyone. Because I have actually principles and philosophy. You sit with a fictitious pot of gold. The force used you. A trap built from the start. Men's biggest weakness. You couldn't even dominate the realm. You couldn't even dominate in the realm you thought was you was dominating in. Okay, this is where we start to tail off, and I don't really have a conclusion. I don't think I finished this. What did I say? In regards to men and the need to be kings of their own realms, you could argue that the way in which people are able to exercise power is very limited and concentrated within systems. The real domination practiced globally, it was within the area of systems of domination. Yes, you may believe you are free to do as you wish, but a system has been established that keeps these raw energies of man contained. I would argue that the whole world is a container system. The world is not round, it is square, it's a cube. This is where I have little singular notes. Underlying emotion, many think they have won in life, call upon warrior spirit to seek us to true victory. Okay, so we could say things like the red pill guys, the self-improvement guys, they are this system that seeks to really destroy you, tries to put these images of men as what you should desire, as the real champions of warriors. But they are not warriors. They ain't fight for nothing. They could not be in the same room as real people talking sense. Okay? When you can edit, like, fair enough, I'm editing right now. But when you can edit and control your image and you can't allow, there's nothing conscious, there's nothing real in the digital space. Okay, so there are no conscious thoughts other than the thoughts emitted by the content creator, and truly they are serving the algorithm. Okay, but I seek for a desire to call upon the warrior spirit to seek us, or to deliver us, to true victory. Yeah, these red pill warriors are not any warriors at all. Well said. All right, men are unable to utilize. So key points: men are unable to utilize the force to dominate in their own lives. Out in the real world, substitutes the pride. The false victory. That is it. Some people are, after me reading this whole thing, they don't understand what I just said. I don't really get the point. That's what they'll say. I don't get the point. Okay, the false victory. You're utilizing the non as a makeup for failings in your day-to-day activities, not because you're of anything really personal. It's to accept the reality of what we've been born into. Yeah. But your psyche, your consciousness is able to feel as though you've achieved a victory by making the non the biggest prize, the biggest opponent, the biggest battle, and even your interaction with it is one of fighting, beating up the non, dominating the pums. It's all the same thing, but you're banging on the wrong war drum here. Okay, you need to actually go to war, real war. All these other, the non follows the same principles, the containers, the sports. You got all that aggression and tribal aggression for a fantasy team that you don't play for, against a team of other individuals that also don't play the game, and you're in the pub, you're in the bar, trying to punch another man. What for? You're playing video games. You're playing video games 12 hours a day, making progress in a realm that don't exist. I mean, like, what do we say? That's the false victory. Yeah, you need philosophy, you need principles, and then you can speak like this. You can speak can write like this and have your points and have it opposed. Red Pill Man couldn't be in the same room as me. Yeah, they're safely there in their 2 hour long stream where no one can really challenge them. They can't get challenged by real thoughts. But yeah, I've been fighting the system since I was 4. Okay, so I really know how to do this. They love school. They love the accolades. They love another man rewarding them. Whether it's a female teacher, it's another man's system. It's the same thing speaking to you. Yeah. It's another man's system. I can see through the matrix. I can see what this place is. I can see how man has intercepted God's reality. And it's the Wizard of Oz. It's the Wizard of Oz with some Wizard of Oz technology. But the Wizard of Oz was a coward. Okay, and he tried to dupe everyone else who was actually powerful into not realizing their power. So that we have to go to the Wizard of Oz and ask for power and ask for this and all these gifts. The Wizard of Oz was a fraud, and this is what this realm is to me. Yeah, it was once God's realm of reality, trees, earth, but a man has systems of illusion, trickery, the TV, the screen, it's everything's just, there is no real power unless a bomb is going off. Yeah, unless a gun is being shot. Most of the stuff is just trickery and illusions. The history is just can't even be proven. It's all just images, pixels, text, repainted versions of history. It's just this whole place. It's just I can't. The Wizard of Oz has no power against me. Okay. So that's the false victory. I'm just gonna end that there.